Hello and welcome to the Red Phone Zone. We are hitting you with a blitz of some confessions of a movie snob. I happen to be in a film course at UMKC this semester, and that is a cat. And I am being subjected to several interesting films, some of which I have seen before, some of which I have not seen before. And just the other day, we got to watch the 1989 Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing. And I'll be hitting you up with my review right after this. Let me preface this by saying I really don't like Spike Lee. In fact, I hate Spike Lee. Well, hate might be a bit of a strong word. I don't like the guy at all. I think he's a horrible, horrible racist. And every one of his movies that I have seen really sort of showcases that and showcases this really, especially in his early days, this real just lack of filmmaking talent. Do the Right Thing is one of those movies that's considered one of the best movies of all time. I believe it's on number 98 or 97 on the AFI Top 100 list. It is a movie about a Brooklyn neighborhood. It was released in 1989, so it's late 80s. It's about this Brooklyn neighborhood where it's the hottest day of the year, and all of this the heat gets to everyone, and everyone boils over in horrible, horrible violence and all this. Problem is, when you watch the movie, it doesn't get any of that across as far as, the heat's driving everyone crazy. It just says, it's a hot day. Yeah, it's really hot out today. Hey, it's hot out today. Hey, it's hot out today. Hey, it's hot. Hey, it's hot out today. And, so yeah, you get sort of this impression that, yeah, it's kind of hot out today. I don't see anyone else going crazy. Maybe a little kind of dumb. Okay. First of all, let me get it right out of the way and say it. I hated it. I thought it was a terrible movie. I mean, I was insulted by this film. Granted, it was filmed 23 years ago, or released 23 years ago, by Spike Lee, who was God knows how old at the time. And he is in the film, he plays Mookie. I don't know whether or not this was his first film. I really don't care. I've seen a few Spike Lee movies, and the only one of which I actually enjoyed was Inside Man, because it had some great actors in it, and it wasn't this horrible, everybody's racist. I know I'm putting myself out here to be criticized in horrible, horrible ways, as I am, living in Kansas, and I am clean-cut white man right here, although not too clean-cut today, but whatever. And sort of, I am the epitome of the man. I'm going to be an attorney. All that crazy stuff. So, I know I've lived a pretty sheltered existence. I didn't grow up in New York. I visited New York once, 13 years ago. But here's the thing. And this is going to come as a shock to some of you, so stand back. Black people can be racist too. And this movie is sort of a showcase of all this horrible hate that goes on, and how it's an endless cycle. Now, if his intention in making the movie was to showcase this unending cycle of racism and how we should all get along and everything, then I would cut the movie some slack. But the problem is, if you read some of the interviews that Spike Lee has done, he entirely just says no. I mean, the movie is about racism, but it's how everyone is racist towards black people. And I'm sorry, I don't get that from this movie. The thing I get from this movie is just rough hatred for everybody. And you have the white people, played by the Italians, who are immigrants to the country. Of course, I mean, they immigrated to the country at some point. And they open up a pizzeria in this very small neighborhood that everyone loves, everyone goes to, everyone says, hey, we're going to go to Sal's and have some great pizza. Sal's played by Danny Aiello. He got an Oscar nomination, and he is by far the most sympathetic character in the movie. And I found myself at looking at my watch about half an hour in, nothing had happened. I looked at my watch at about an hour in, still nothing had happened. I looked at my watch an hour and a half into this, and finally something is starting to happen. You know, I mean, things are finally, quote unquote, boiling over after all this simmering is going on through the whole movie. Where I think you're supposed to really figure that the simmering is going on with Radio Raheem and the other idiot with the shoes. How it's like, Sal doesn't have any black people up on the Wall of Fame in his Italian restaurant that he owns. Yeah, and he explained to it, it's like, I only put Italian Americans up there, and then people get all bent out of shape. It's like, oh, okay, well, there's no black people up there, so he's racist. And he explains it to him, kicks him out of his shop, because the guy's being a belligerent jackass. Quite frankly, if I was there, I would want him to kick the dude out. Everyone else wanted him to leave because he was being a belligerent jackass. And then for the rest of the movie, he goes around picking fights with people and trying to get people to boycott Sal's because of there's a great cat fight going on in the back there, and that sort of epitomizes this movie. It's racism of cats. Different colored cats are going at it over here. But anyway, you have this idiot character that jumps from one thing to another. It is obviously crazy. Is a complete moron. Everybody thinks he's a moron. He goes from one subject to another subject to another subject, and is just trying to start a fight. That's all he does. He gets all bent out of shape about this whole Sal thing, and then he gets cooled off by Mookie, who's like, yeah, dude, you're being a jackass. Don't do this. So he goes off, and then a white guy on a bike bumps past him and scuffs his shoes. Oh, crap, that sets him off again, and he goes after this dude, and this dude's like, dude, I was born in Brooklyn. I was born here, blah, blah, blah. And this dude's like, whatever, you're stupid. And it just sort of devolves, the whole movie feels like it devolves into these different groups, different racial groups, calling each other poo-poo heads. And that's entirely what the movie does. He somehow gets stuck back on this whole Sal thing with the whole picture on the wall stuff, and then goes in at the very end of the day where Sal's like, it's been a good day, we've done good business, people seem happy, you know. At this point, I figure you're supposed to get the idea that, I figure at this point you're supposed to figure that this whole, everyone's been like, oh, it's been so hot, and oh man, we're all dying, but you don't get that. You get this, yeah, it's a hot, uncomfortable day. Oh darn, drink some lemonade, or something. Or, yeah, take a shower. You don't get this impression that, oh, it's so unbearably hot that we're all gonna go crazy. And so, everything boils over at the end when Radio Raheem goes into the store with his radio and refuses to turn it off. And, of course, Sal just goes off on the guy and breaks the damn radio because he's just cranking his music and it's his business. It's whatever, you know, sure. Your point is, in that scene, everyone is in the wrong. Everyone's a hothead. And, you know, when you get pissed off, everyone knows you say stupid things. And both sides say stupid things. Well, it just so happens that Sal says the N-word, and that's pretty much sets it off. This staple of this community, this guy who's made something of himself and made something of a business that he's worked up from the ground up, gets burned down because, well, he said the N-word, so obviously he must have always been a racist. And oh, by the way, Mookie, who has basically just been told that he's like a son to Sal, throws a trash can through the window and comes back later and wants his money and all that. You know, it's one of those movies that I'm like, you know, maybe back in 1989 this movie had some relevance, but now there are so much better examples of different racism in this country. And I think people that were, say, like me, when this movie came out, was 9 years old, who's grown who's grown to be 31 at this point in a society where at least I think there's a bit more racial acceptance. Look at this movie, and I just get patently offended by it because it's entirely just a movie of screw everybody because we're black people, white people hate us, so we're gonna hate the Asian people, and the Asian people are gonna hate everyone else, and so we're gonna hate them and the white person, and the white person's gonna hate it. So it's just one big circle of hate going on in the movie. I'm probably not being too coherent, but I was just utterly offended and thought the movie was terrible. So if you find yourself starting on that AFI Top 100 list and going down the line, you will run across Do the Right Thing, and apparently it's a big classic film, but quite frankly, instead of seeing this movie, go watch something good, with a good black actor. I mean, God, Denzel Washington's done about 1,000,000 different movies that are all great. Well, most of them are great. We'll get into that later someday. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. That is my review of Do the Right Thing. Have fun. Don't see this movie. It's awful.